Hey there, buddy. Look. Look, it's people on YouTube. This is my buddy Ari here because he's a lion. He just decided to come out and help me when I decided to film a video. Just wanted to do a little clip here. I was going to upload a video I did like 8 years ago, 8.5 years ago probably. And thought I'd put this in as a little, introductory thing for it. It's about getting a marriage license in the Philippines. But I saw a video today I watched by Red Zone Mindanao, and I went back and checked out his last couple videos. He's been having some issues, I guess, wanting to get married to somebody over in the Philippines, and he was married to a Filipina before. They got married in the Philippines, and then he took her to England, and she ended up leaving him after she got her citizenship. And so he's back over there now wanting to marry someone else. And he was trying to get, I guess, so they would recognize his foreign divorce, so he could get remarried over in the Philippines. So the situation's not directly analogous to what I'm talking about here, just in terms of getting, the required documents to get a marriage license. But the most important point of the video that I did back then was to make sure you have a good attitude about things, Apparently he made a little snide comment to the judge or something, where he feels that it kind of got him in a little bit of trouble. But that's the most important thing. When you're doing anything in the Philippines, you can't just have the right documents, you have to have the right attitude. And as you'll see, when we magically transport back into the past where I was skinnier and had 8.5 years less wrinkles and sun damage to my skin, that was the main point I wanted to make back then as well. I thought I'd go ahead and share this instead of making another video, just because this happened back when I actually did all that stuff and it was really fresh in my mind. And of course you can still see the blooming of new love in my attitude toward my wife. She really changed my life when I met her after some of the other things I'd been through, and so we'll transport back in time to that wonderful event. Hello again. It's taken me a few days longer to get back to making some videos than what I had originally planned. Just other things going on and time flies by. What I wanted to talk about in this video is the process of getting a marriage license in the Philippines, because I know that's something that a lot of people are wondering about, and what the process is if you want to get married over there. I'll talk a little bit more later about the process of the fiancé visa. I kind of touched on that briefly in another video about another topic. But as far as the marriage license, when I was over in Mindanao with my wife back in June of 2015, we first started talking about the whole idea of getting married, and I had 3 weeks scheduled off work in December, and we talked about I would go back over there hopefully in December, and we could get everything done for our marriage license, which is good for 120 days after it's issued. And then I could go back in the spring of 2016 sometime, and we could actually get married then. I have to say that my wife and I, when we met, we really hit the ground running full speed. It was a very interesting situation. I had never planned on falling that hard and that fast for her, and it was something where we both really we knew this was it, and that we wanted to get married. It's kind of rainy here. I hope it's not going to start raining hard again. I've got the door open there. Hope it doesn't make too much noise. but we were going to get married. When I was spending my last night over there with her before I came back, and like on the 4th of July, she told me, she said, "You're not my boyfriend, you're my husband," and that was pretty much it. That was what we wanted, and it was a pretty sudden thing for both of us that we just decided. We had spent the last couple of weeks together nonstop, and over in Mindanao with her family, and it's just we both knew that's what we wanted. I came back home to the States, and it was killing me. Honestly, I didn't want to leave her there, and it was killing me to be apart from her. And we started talking about the idea of actually getting married in December when I went back over. I had a week of vacation scheduled in August, and I had originally planned to cancel that and just stay here and work, and I kind of forgot to cancel it. Fortunately, we had started talking about planning a wedding in December, and what we had discussed was possibly, when I first got over there, right at the beginning of December, to go and do everything we had to for our marriage license, and take like the class together and all of that, the marriage, like a marriage counseling class, and try and get everything set up. And it would have really been pushing things to try and get everything done that first week of December, and then you have to wait 10 days for the license to be issued, and then hopefully we could get it done in the last few days, basically, before I had to come back home. And that would have been really, really, really hard. But when we started talking about actually getting married, I took out a loan to get some money, so I'd have some money in the bank that we could use for expenses leading up to the wedding and all of that. And when I realized that I had forgotten to cancel that week of work, and I had off a little over a week of work, I got on the internet and made a flight reservation for the next morning. My wife, she didn't even know I was coming over there, because I didn't have a chance to talk to her again after I decided that, and she had already gone to bed for the night, and we had been talking about the class that coming week that she was thinking about going to take there where she lived, just take it by herself for the the marriage counseling and so forth. And basically I just decided, you know what, I'm off, I'm going, and the next morning I was on a plane back to the Philippines, and fortunately we were able there. I found a copy. I was married long time ago. I had a copy of our divorce decree. I didn't actually have the certified copy, but I had a photocopy of it, and I grabbed that, took it with me. I had a copy of my birth certificate, and I took that with me, and was just hoping I had everything I needed to that we could get this done. And I got over there. I had to, I guess it was a Monday morning when I finally got over to Mindanao in Aurora, the little town where she lived. Got over there, and we started getting things together that first day, basically, or I guess it was maybe the second day. I spent Monday night there, and then on Tuesday we were at the town hall, kind of talking about the requirements, and what I needed was a copy of something to show that I was legally free to get married. There were no appointments left in Manila. They were booked up. You have to have an appointment there, but in the consular office in Cebu City, you can just go and you don't need an appointment. So there was one flight from Pagadian City over to Cebu that day, later in the afternoon, and I rushed around. One of her cousins drove me in to the airport in the tricycle, and got on the flight. It was kind of an adventure because I couldn't get any internet access anywhere to try and make a hotel reservation for that night over in Cebu City. And finally, when I got to the airport over there, I was able to find a spot where I could get on the Wi-Fi on my phone and make a reservation somewhere. And I got up early the next morning. At the time, the information I had was that the consular office there was only open for like 2 hours every day. It had been closed for a while, and there was just like a 2-hour window in the morning where you had to be in there and get things done. It turned out that they had already started, bringing their hours back up, and finally later that month they were actually going back to full hours at that office in Cebu. But I was right there real early, got in and got out, got a cab back to the airport, had to swear, before a notary there, get a notarized statement that I was legally free to get married. And fortunately, the woman back in Aurora who was in charge of everything was nice enough to accept just that photocopy I had of my divorce decree, that plus the form I had from the consulate there, and had my birth certificate, and we took the class there together that you have to take. While I was in Cebu, my wife went to Osamis, I guess, and got Senomars, or the certificate of no marriage, which you also have to have. It shows that you have never been married before in the Philippines, and there's no record of you having been in any kind of a marriage over in the Philippines. So we had to have that too. So we had to have birth certificate. She had to get some clearance, some information from the barangay office there in Aurora. She was 21 at the time. 22 actually by then. She had just turned 22, so she had to have from her mom, who was her only surviving parent, the certificate of parental advice. Up to 20, from 18 to 21, you have to have a certificate of parental consent, and from 22 to 25, parental advice, like they're advising you to enter into this relationship. So we had that, and the Senomar. I had the certificate from taking the class there, and finally, by that Friday morning, we were able to get everything done and be there and get everything signed and turn it in, which was the 14th of August. So, and I had to come back home on Monday. I was taking off to come back here to the States. So fortunately, we got everything done while I was there. And on the 24th, then 10 days later, is when the marriage license was issued. And so we had 120 days, or up until the 21st of December, to actually get married. And we did on December the 8th. I was back over there, and we got married. So fortunately, we were able to get all that done, and get married then in December, which was good. It gave us time to have a few months then to plan everything and get everything taken care of, and set things up and find a venue, and for her to find dresses and all that sort of thing. Much better than if we had tried to cram it all into 3 weeks, not knowing for sure if we were going to get it all done and get the marriage license issued. But that's just my experience with it. It was a pretty quick, painless process, but you want to make sure you have the paperwork. If you can have a certified copy of any divorce decree that you had if you were divorced before. We actually had a civil ceremony. We had the mayor married us there, and but that's something, if you've been married before, if you're going to have a church wedding, and the priest is going to want to talk to you about the whole thing about the divorce and so forth. So that might be an issue. Those are things you have to take into account. But you need your birth certificate, ID of some sort. You need something from the consulate to show that you're legally free to enter into marriage. If you were married before, you have to have, preferably if you can have a good, certified copy of that divorce decree. Actually, I'm, getting ready to work on the paperwork to bring my wife over here, and I actually ordered 3 more copies of mine from Pennsylvania. You see it has the seal on it here, the actual certified copies. Before, I just had a photocopy when I was over there, and my lawyer needs for me to have 2 copies of this to turn in with our paperwork when we get everything filed finally to bring her over here. So if you can get the certified copies, definitely do that. And make sure you have everything that you could possibly imagine needing. Do a little bit of research online, but those are the basics. You just need to make sure you have time to get it done. And if there's a class scheduled where you need to take the class for your the marriage counseling kind of thing, make sure that you can find out where those classes are and when they're giving them. So if you want to take that, you can. I don't know if I necessarily would have had to take it, that class. My wife's cousin who works there in the office told us, that usually they will give the foreigner a little consideration there, but that could vary from place to place. So definitely make sure that you can meet all those requirements. And the woman there who was, kind of in charge of everything and looking over all the paperwork to make sure everything was right, she thanked me for having a good attitude about everything and being willing to fulfill all their requirements and do what I needed to do so they could get things done. Like when I had to rush off to Cebu City and get that the notarized form from the consulate there. So have a good attitude about it. Don't get cranky with people and say, why do I have to do this? You're there. Show a good attitude. You're there to marry one of their friends and neighbors, maybe their relatives even, and don't act like an idiot. Be respectful and polite, and just do what you need to do. There's a way that things are done, and you're getting married to someone over there, so show some respect for what they require and what they need, and if you do that, it's going to be a lot smoother. They'll appreciate that you have a good attitude about it. And that would be my biggest piece of advice. You can find out what the requirements are and get all the paperwork, but have a good attitude. That's always going to get you pretty far. People appreciate it when you have a nice attitude and you're trying to comply with their requirements and you're not whining about it, like, why do I have to do this? And hopefully that will help you if that's something that you're planning to do. Thank you.